sensuality. Now, we live in a sensual world, and sometimes some religions, they have a very eccentric response to the sensuality which is around them. And we see that with people enforcing their women folk to wear burqas, or even, say, in the Amish community, asking people to wear loose-fitting, most not unsaid sensuality in this world. Certainly that's an important question, because some of people's ideas about the problems of sensuality and the joys of sensuality have a huge impact on the way that they live their lives and the way they act upon other people. But sometimes there's a problem if we try and suppress it just too vigorously, because that impinges upon our freedoms and our wishes to enjoy the world in which we are living. We live in such a world, we have to, instead of trying to cover up the triggers with burqas or with veils, or with people dressing up in sort of loose-fitting clothing and not accentuating, your bodies, and not wearing scents and makeup and goodness knows what else, that won't solve the problem. Well, the problem has to be solved actually in one's relationship with the sensory world.
Hello, this is Danielle Sana, and I'm going to talk about sex, gender orientation, sexual orientation, sensuality, and meditation. Sex is defined by the procreation of life, when two organisms come together to produce another organism. The cycle of life, which is the evidence of love in all life forms. So sex is basically when an egg cell and a sperm cell combined. It also relates to the different procedures to carry out the fusation of the egg and the sperm cell. Gender is defined predominantly by the organs of reproduction, such as male, female, and hermaphrodite, like myself. Gender is defined genetically by karyotypes as well, such as XY, XX, XXY, and others, but sometimes do not match with the reproductive organs, the gender that is actually part of the reproductive organs. Gender orientation is defined by brain gender of an individual, where the brain and consciousness, which is also interpreted as being soul and spirit in a mystical sense, but as consciousness and the brain in a scientific sense of an entity or being. This would explain transgenderism, which encapsulates the diversity of individuals such as transsexuals, transgenders, cross-dressers, transvestites, ladyboys, etc., etc., etc. including androgynes as well. Sexual orientation is derived by the choice of intimacy to people of specific genders, as in gays, lesbians, and bisexuals. But also gets part of within relationships where intimate relationships happen, as well as forms of sensual meditation, sensual tantra. Sensuality is defined on the grounds of true love, compassion, empathy, tenderness, and understanding, and acknowledgement of love in standard intimate practices of love, as well as expressed in meditation and tantra, and does not include erotism and the perception of what sex is in this earth-based society. As you'll go, if you actually anyone who actually wouldn't visit another planet or been on the spaceship would know this, that sensuality is linked to sex. Meditation is a form of exercise of the mind and body and consciousness. It's a replenishment to the body and mind and the surroundings of the environment, the well-being of a person and the rejuvenation of the person, as well as connecting to the surroundings and its relationship with the surroundings. There are many diverse forms of meditation, as you can go and research, such as yoga, standard meditation, prayer, sleeping is a form of meditation, mantra, bhakti, sensual and tantric meditations. Sensual meditation is not subjective to reality. Connecting with the infinite, also what some people call the source, feelings of the infinite, love and universal connectivity that creates transcendent awareness, the awakening of the pineal gland, the third eye. This awakening helps creativity and well-being and an understanding of life, and to be able to extract the meaning and know about the universe and everything. So, what I'm going to say is, let's go back through them again. Sex is basically a subject on this planet which is rather taboo because of its perception. It's basically associated with romping, pornography, and many other sort of negative aspects, where actually sex is basically the fusation of male and female to form a new life being, a new life form. It happens through all nature. It happens through any form of nature, whether the genders of the organisms differ, or whether they are all one, such as earthworms. Earthworms are hermaphrodites, and they play a very central part in the ecosystem of this planet. But people on this planet only see two genders. They forget and they reject and neglect the third gender of society, which is the intersex hermaphrodite, as well as the diverse forms of gender-orientated individuals, where their consciousness and brain does not match with their bodies. Basically, medical science treats this as a dysphoria or a disease, or as anything stupid in the sense, which is actually wrong. The medical science is rather outdated and wrong. If anyone had to explore to other planets, there are even humanities out there that do not have any male or female separation of genders, but everyone is hermaphrodite. And there's a possibility that it's been, well, I don't know the long terminology, but it's been assumed that on this planet male gender might fade out because the Y chromosome is very weak, and so females and hermaphrodites might become predominant. Whether this is part of intelligent design or it's part of evolution, I'm not sure. Because evolution is basically defined as the progression of life forms without external intelligent manipulation. Intelligent design is when evolution is designed in a process and shaped in a system development life cycle of organisms, which the Ilham does when they create life on the planet. Sexual orientation, whether you're gays, lesbian, it's not a choice of lifestyle. It's the way people are structured this way. And as I've been going through, sensuality is not to be confused with lust. Where I had found some psychological arguments about spirituality with sensual meditation and sensual tantra, waking up, causing awakening, and causing the flow of energy of the kundalini, progressing through the chakras up to the third eye and up through the crown, which is the antenna, your hair. And they argue, because I haven't really done much research in this, and it's a very much part of biological or natural science, cosmic science, because cosmic is natural, cosmic science in a sense. They refuse to understand because of inflictions of the Catholic Church is being passed on through time, which is why it's very important with consciousness versus policy. Consciousness is basically the true natural law of the cosmos. You extract your processes and choices through your consciousness compelling inside, where policy is defined for organization, but it's finite, not infinite like consciousness, the true consciousness, natural law of your consciousness, cosmic law of your consciousness. Policy is defined by certain individuals to benefit certain individuals and not as humanity as a whole. Thus, with Deviant Art, I got kicked because I did not want to understand with ideas and to understand sensuality, and also as well from starseeds.net, they just don't understand this whole thing because of the perception of things. So I've done the video. This is just basics information to work on and think about, and namaste.